Hi, I'm Joel Blue, and I'm going to be talking about Adobe Photoshop Mix and a marketing campaign for it. So have you ever been on the street and you see artists creating drawings or paintings of people who are on the street? They're definitely portraits of themselves and their friends. So these drawings and paintings are usually shared on social media, and they get hung up in houses, and it's supposed to be sort of a special event. The paintings are usually like wacky or funny. So the marketing campaign is to take Adobe Photoshop Mix to the streets. So what is Adobe Photoshop Mix? So it's a new version of Photoshop that's available everywhere. It can be on your desktop, your iPad, your smartphone, or your tablet. It has a new user-friendly interface that allows you to do the advanced settings even on your iPhone. It's been simplified, and it has cloud-based storage and syncing abilities, which means you can be working on content on your iPad, and then when you get home you can go on your desktop and the project has been updated and is ready to be worked on. It has a sharing ability so that artists can collab with each other on the same project on the same time. It is also easily able to be uploaded to social media or to be shared with your coworkers or with your bosses. It's made to be used by professionals and for the average customer. So it has the same advanced settings but an easier to use interface. So our idea is to bring Adobe Photoshop Mix to the streets. So what is the plan? The plan is to have Adobe set up these large events in major cities one at a time and to have local artists showcasing Photoshop Mix to be creating these sort of like how the other artists were drawing and painting portraits of people. They'll be taking pictures of them and then photoshopping them so that they can be shared on social media or they can be printed out and hung up on walls, but we're focusing on it being shared on social media. We think this is a great way to demonstrate the product to people. They can see how easy it is, how the artists will be using sometimes smartphones, or they'll be using iPads, or they'll be using desktops. They'll be using all the different devices, and people will be able to see how easy it is and how quickly they're able to edit these photos. And I think it will be great for social media self-promotion. So Adobe will set up these events in these major cities, but beforehand they're going to announce it to bloggers and to influencers to invite them to promote these events and the product so that it can be shared even more widely online besides just by Adobe. So when these people come up and have their portraits or their selfies photoshopped, they're going to add the hashtag Photoshop the streets when they share it. So this would allow Adobe to track how successful this campaign is going, how often these pictures are looked at, how often they're shared, and how much this new product is actually being seen by the public. And at each one of these major events in the cities, Adobe would also create a promotional video. So this video would start out with a quick interview and a bio of the local artists that are being used by Adobe to create these and what a great opportunity it is for them. And then the video would go on to show how many people are at the event and showing how these artists are easily creating these awesome, cool, funny photos, photoshopping them and such, and how it's a great sort of community event. And they would be able to track how successful and popular these events are in this video by the amount of times it gets shared, views, the like to dislike ratio, and how often people are interacting in the comments section, whether or not they think it's this new great thing. And another way that this campaign would be beneficial is to market it to the influencers and to the bloggers that are invited to these events. So offering them promotional deals. So after this event is over and these influencers go home and continue to make their own content online to promote Adobe, to use Adobe Photoshop in their videos, in whatever sort of content they're making, in their Instagram photos, and then adding the hashtag and adding the promotion of Adobe in it. And Adobe would be able to track how successful this is by directly tracking the sales from each one of these influencers and seeing if they're creating any new revenue for them. This is generally done by a small discount code that is given to people who are viewing these influencers' content. So how would this change Adobe from the competitors? So Adobe already has 95% of the graphics market share. Their closest competitors are CorelDRAW, OmniGraffle, and Cinema 4D. So Adobe has a much different image than its competitors. Adobe is seen as the highly professional, highly advanced, difficult to use are the words that are correlated with Adobe, while these other ones are often, their products are free, their products are really dumbed down and simplified so that anybody can walk right in without any tutorial and begin editing and creating content. So Adobe already has this very different image, but we want to make it all-inclusive. So we want to be able to take up that market share of people who want the simpler products and let them know that Adobe Photoshop Mix is now just as simple as these other products, but it still has these more advanced settings that can be used. So Adobe is going out and creating these viral marketing campaigns just like this one. So this would fit in really well with what Adobe is currently doing. One of their most recent ones was the Layer project, or the Reddit project. So this is where Adobe allowed users on Reddit to use Adobe products for free, specifically Photoshop Mix, for a specific amount of time, and they were allowed to create images, as you can see here by this collage, and they were only allowed to use so many pixels, but they're allowed to go in and use the software to see how simple it is and to see what they could do with it. And all the different images created by all the hundreds of thousands of users were made and put on the homepage of Reddit, and it would change out as hundreds and thousands of people continued to use it, and it was a huge success for them. And another one that they're doing to reach their target demographic is the Adobe Ambassador Network. So Make It Creative Cloud is they're saying for it. They're going out to 100 different universities across the United States, and they're offering workshops. They're teaching students how to use the new Adobe products. They're giving them discounts on these products, and they want them trained up and ready to go into the workforce with knowledge of how to use it and bringing it with them, so that if their employers don't already use it, then perhaps these new employees could bring it in, or employers who are using it and are specifically looking for people who are knowledgeable on these platforms, they would be able to hire them. And this is also a great networking opportunity for this younger generation. So we believe that this new marketing campaign is perfect for Adobe because it is reaching their new target demographic, which is the millennials, but specifically the Gen Zs who are just now going into college. Being able to reach them now and train them up on the products. And this new marketing campaign is going to reach them because they're the ones that are most active on social media, most involved in these new viral things that are happening. So in summary, this is an attempt to increase awareness of the product through social media, to increase the number of users for that younger demographic, and also to have influencers promoting this product through Adobe on the streets. Thank you very much.